Cool. Well, I think we're ready to go. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. We're going to start our session 4 on digital engineering management. Like I said earlier, we have a very full session with experts from all corners of this area, I would say. But first, we're delighted to be joined by Sylvain Riss. I'll just introduce him briefly. Sylvain is now head of digital and BIM at BG Ingenieur Consortium. My French pronunciation is terrible. In Paris, he manages the quality management system of the group as well. At the start of his career, he trained as a surveyor and then worked for 10 years in project management in design and execution before joining the CESI to accompany the engineering school on project engineering topics. Sylvain was the director of the master's degree specializing in construction project management in BIM and numerical modeling at the CESI Engineering School. He has a PhD in education and his expertise is in educational engineering issues. He led a team of BIM technical assistants for the project of the Grand Paris Express in France for 2 years until 2019, and his work now focuses on change management, digital ways of building, including BIM and CIM in the different fields of construction. So thank you very much, Sylvain, and your 20 minutes is yours. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello. Thanks a lot for your invitation again. My name is Sylvain Riss, and to introduce myself, I will not repeat what Leo said just a few minutes ago. So I'm now head of the digital and the BIM in the BG Ingenieur Conseil company. And the Ingenieur Conseil is involved in projects in many different countries with subsidiaries in Switzerland, France, Italy, Portugal, Algeria. And the BG Group, founded in Switzerland in 1955, is a firm of 700 consulting engineers engaged in fields of infrastructure, environment, building, and energy. And I will share with you a little digital journey with my beautiful French accent to fight against, because that's the way it's always been done. So this sentence kills in any field: recruitment, marketing, leadership, constructions, and many others. But today, more than ever, make difference. Daring to test new methods, daring to challenge the status quo, daring to question oneself is one of the main difficulties. We must think the change more than ever. We see the target, but we have to define the pathway. Digital in construction is more than an adoption. It must be a question of integration, and it will be the purpose of my presentation. I divided my presentation in 2 parts. The first one about context and perspectives, and the second one about strategy and methods around digital challenges in construction. In fact, we can imagine, we can define three ways of thinking construction tomorrow. The first one, building in a virtual world, an era where people are immersed in virtual reality in all aspects of life. Intelligent systems and robots run the construction of industry. Or perhaps factories run the world. A corporate-dominated society uses prefabrication and modularization to create cost-efficient structure. Another option, a green reboot, a world with increasing conflicts over scarce resources and climate change, rebuilds using environmental-friendly construction methods and sustainable materials. In fact, we don't know what could be this future, but we are sure it will be digital. Digital transformation become a rising urgency. According to the World Economic Forum, it's a version of July 2020 of this year, 146 year-on-year growth in April 2020 in only retail in North America. More than 25% of consumers use mobile devices for purchase at least once a week. 22% growth in global venture capital investment in edtech companies in the first quarter of 2020. So we have a different aspect of this rising urgency and this transformation with the digital in all our life. And the questions or the statement we could make today is that the world goes digital, and the pandemic with the COVID has irrevocably changed our world. In construction, the top 5 innovation, according to British Standard Institution, are the BIM in the first one, the cloud computing, the IoT, Internet of Things, automated construction and system processes, and the last, the artificial intelligence. But the secret is the data, and this little word, data, have a large impact in our daily work, and particularly our way of working. And the real challenge linked to digital is how to create a data lifecycle management in our project. Due to the data, we changed that way of working. It's a deep change in reality, a deep change of paradigm. 3 fields, 6 imperatives in this common transformation, and 3 fields of development. We have to enable the organization, integrate, digitalize. The purpose are attract new talents and build required skills, and enable change management and capacity to adapt. When we speak about digitalized processes, we speak about maximize use of data and digital models through processes and adopt advanced technology at scale. And for capture new opportunities, this is linked to one side, review product portfolio and embrace new business. On other side, integrate, collaborate across the value chain. But why? Why do we need to change? Why do things differently? Why change? BIM and digital technologies blur the boundaries, the perimeters, the ways of working, and the roles. Projects are becoming more and more complex, becoming increasingly multi-trade, multi-site, multi-actors, multi-collaborative, and we have to remain competitive and efficient with projects of ever-increasing size. Our professional and personal environment is becoming data-centric. Going there is a matter of survival. A new positioning in this landscape requires support for change and development. We have to define what could be called a digital company. According to Patel and McCarthy, this is their definition. The digital company refers to a company that has been able to transform itself by relying on digital tools to become more efficient in its market, its organization, its management, its working methods, and its human relations. So don't forget anyway, the human relation side in the digital way. Some indicators about the digital company are necessary to change organizations towards Organization 2.0. An evolution to consider this change of type of governance and type of organizations is to go to a collaborative organizations. More or less, a large part of companies today are more pyramidal organizations, but we have to work to have a collaborative organization, and it's a long way to have this type of governance. Digital and BIM confuse the perimeters, I already said, and changing working methods towards more collaborative ones. The organization becomes a system, an increasingly complex system of systems that requires new working environments. Asset reasoning. The company manages its data produced or collected as asset. It's a new way of thinking the work and the object in the project. It's industrialization, standardization of production processes through digitalization, connecting individuals beyond organizational processes and trades, promote social participation. Integration of new data-oriented business profile, data scientists, business application developers, generative design. Use of new technologies, for example, blockchain, intelligence artificial, collaboration with startups, proposal of new differentiating and digital services, both internally and externally. The dynamism experienced internally is the image that is carried out externally. And more and more, this is user experience oriented. Culture imposes new models to build a model in continuous change. There is no longer a stable state. Digital and BIM confuse perimeters and disappearance of border. And to conclude the slide, we have to change and to go from this robust and proven formula, this company traditional way with a pyramidal organization, to an agile, adaptable, flexible, modern, transverse formula to have a collaborative organization. A prerequisite in terms of digital practices is the efficiency of digital is directly subject to the robustness of effective project management, structured by a quality approach that is actually implemented, and the fact that digital does not solve the non-quality issues related to project management. So this little graphic explain link to the project management methods maturity and digital maturity, that if you use new technology with old operation, you have normally expensive old operation, and it's not so easy to understand, because oftenly we think that with technology we will solve all our problems. I think the strategy plan could be based on 4 pillars. It's my approach. This is a roadmap that we are leading with my team for the integration of BIM and digital in the company, and we are working with 4 levels for these roadmaps. The governance of organizations, the level of formalized the digital governance. This is about strategy issue. The second one about structuration of the project is more about process and the link to the quality system. The third one is more about technical expertise, and the purpose is to assist to have an assistance, operational assistance to the different project manager of the company. The last one is more about people, and as example, you could develop a training program in this axe, and this axe is really oriented about people, and you have to develop some action around the people themselves and their skills. But the real work is to define the list of action and objectives for each axe linked to the operational reality. This is a real challenge, and we have to manage it. So digital challenges are a matter of governance. Digital transformation vary across companies and influenced by the size, industry, digital maturity, and capabilities. However, amid the different digital transformation priorities and plans that every company must construct, 7 important dimensions are near universal. So processes, so these different dimensions are processes, the organization structures, principles, policies, procedures, information, culture and ethics and behavior, people skills, and the infrastructure and application. They can help executives in most these different dimensions, can help executives in most companies understand how to successfully digitalize their business with purpose. Digital challenges are a matter of change management. Let's start by defining what this approach could be. Like the French sociologist Norbert Alter says, change management is a lack of stable state, a transition between two states, which becomes the common situation of the organization, the situation of the creative processes. We can divide it literally approach this approach in 4 parts. The first one, diagnose, then propose, script, and manage, is a cycle of leading the change management. Change management is a program included in the digital strategy. So both change management and strategy cannot be divided in 2 parts. And you have to lead these both aspects in the same time. And this aspect, the link between change management and strategy is not harmless at all. Digital challenges are a matter of project complexity. Complexity is a system that cannot be broken down into simple and fragmented elements. According to Brooks' law, the complexity in collaboration due to digital could be represented as this picture on the side. With more people, you have more collaboration and emerge more complexity. And often it's human complexity due to the number of these relations. Construction is a system of systems. You have different interfaces, several different professions, numerous actors, schedules to manage. As such, construction projects become more and more complex projects. Digital challenges are a matter of tools as well. So digital is a matter of tools, but tools are not the final purposes. Often we think the change of the digital change and the BIM change as a matter of tools, but it's not the finality. Faced with the complexity of the problems, men are not disarmed. Yesterday, there are fashion tools that are still useful today. Their usefulness should certainly be recalled, stimulating imagination, reducing inconsistencies, creating a common language, structuring collective thinking, and enabling appropriation. However, the limitation and illusion should not be forgotten either. Tools should not replace reflection or restrict freedom of choice. So we are struggling to eliminate 2 symmetrical errors. Ignoring that the hammer exists when we encounter a nail to be driven in, this is a dream of the nail, or on the contrary, under the pretext that we know how to use the hammer, ending up believing that every problem looks like a nail. This is a risk of the hammer. According to John Cotter, we can distinguish 8 steps to try to make a success of this change. This approach might seem naive, but it's an easy way to understand this global approach of change management. You have other writers on the subject, as Otisie Muto or Gilbert San with his model mental strategy. It's a recent book from last year, I think. So we are now working mostly of time on the 4th step, communicate the vision, and we forgot regularly the other point. It's important to assure the convergence between digital and the project management. However, the following steps 5 to 8 are undertaken in parallel. In our case, it's not necessarily a step-by-step development due to the complexity of the project, because we must lead different goals simultaneously. Some advice to succeed in the digital transformation journey. Be clear on the purpose you want. Embed digital in every functions in the company. Merge innovation and efficiency. Integrate value and purpose. Advance with agile iterative roadmaps. Combine short-term and long-term strategy. Build an entrepreneurial culture. Upskill executives. Invest in technology for the long run. Be determined with technology adoption. And at last, adopt new metrics. To conclude, in my point of view, change management is really important in BIM integration or in digital integration. As we said often in BIM, 30 of technology and 70 of humanity are the different percentage of the problematic of digital on BIM. So 30% of technology and 70% of humanity. It's writing the book of Hardin and McCool about BIM project management. I can testimony on it because each day I work on BIM and digital, but more about human aspects and technologies. Take into account BIM and digital maturity, the both phases, the maturity of the project and the maturity of the people from start of the project, and don't forget to measure it. Be aware, so in such complex project, we have to keep in mind, we have to be aware to ensure a real convergence between project management and digital. The issue is to target a project management digital integrated or BIM integrated. Do not confund the digital target and the transition to digital. Most of the time, we have to deal with the transition to digital, most on a state of digital stabilized and finished, and we acting as if we have already joined the stabilized status. It's a trap in which digital itself could be damaged inside the project. Change management is the most important part for succeed in integration of digital in your project. It's a mindset of every day. Do not avoid it. So I thank all my colleagues and followers in BIM and digital, and thanks for you to hear this presentation. So this is the end. I hope you had a pleasant digital journey, and thank you.